That said, fortunately, though, there is a primary forecasting model to help us through the fog and the smoke of what is a burning dumpster fire at the moment.
And
So,
you can see that.
so
So
real quick,
for
let's
New
just set the table on these forecasting models. So 538 said a few hours ago they were going to pause the update on their forecasting model because of the Iowa results. We here at Optimus also paused ours. Alex is going to go into it, but we're basically waiting for Iowa to result so we can actually redo some of the sims because Iowa is predictive of what's going to happen in the future. So we got to kind of know it.
What are you going to do with only 50% of the vote, though? How's that going to factor in?
Well, that's not a called race. I don't know. We got to talk about that. What do you think, Alex?
I think if all they're releasing is half, we're probably going to wait until a much more substantial percent of the vote is in, probably closer to 90% of the vote is in. Um, these numbers, though, the New Hampshire forecasting numbers especially, you can see how close it is between Biden, Warren, and Buttigieg there for second place. Um, So I think definitely what happens over the next 5 days is really going to shake up this race and sort of set it in motion for the rest of the time. You could have it whittle down to a two-person race still, three-person race by Super Tuesday, or it could be like Iowa where the top four candidates all survive and have reasons to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think look, these models are interesting to look at. We needed some races to happen so we could sharpen it a little bit. 90% in Iowa is fine. Who knows when we're going to get to 90? Who knows whether 50 is going to be believable or not? At this point, some of the most predictive things in the model is the polling. We're going to have some new polling come out probably in the next 72 hours. That's going to influence this model and some of the national stuff. Every minute that goes by, we don't have a result in Iowa makes it less relevant to this forecasting because so much. Iowa's not about a delegate play. Iowa's about a momentum play. Someone wins something in Iowa, someone loses something in Iowa, and then it affects the polling, which in turn affects the model. It's not about it's not like California where that matters. California matters because of how many delegates it has. Iowa matters not because of how many delegates it has. It matters because what it does to the public perception, and the public perception feeds into the polling. And I think that's the biggest problem with Iowa right now, and the fact that New Hampshire's so close to it, next to it. It's pretty crazy. Look, we'll have some updates. You'll see it on the site. You'll see it on Aussie, our partner over there, on it. But at this point, these forecast models are all going to be paused as we wait for Iowa to do it. And, let's think about this 4 and 8 and 12 years ahead. Some of the biggest problems with making Democratic or Republican primary presidential models is we need previous elections to go off of. There's a huge asterisk next to Iowa now. Like, even if they come out with results 4 days later, there's a huge asterisk to it. Even a bigger asterisk than the Dem one from 4 years ago was. And so it's this kind of thing that's really going to screw up forecasting going forward just because we have all these anomalies and all these edge cases that happen. I mean, it is an entirely huge edge case, the fact that Iowa may not have accurate results and may not report everything. I mean, you can't simulate around that. Alex had to jump off, but Drew, you and I are going to close this off with our favorite question. Who would you rather be right now? I'll go first. I think I'd rather be. I think I'd rather be Elizabeth Warren, mostly because I don't think she's going to do that bad in Iowa when all the numbers come down. And even if she does do that bad, I think she could figure it out in New Hampshire. But who knows? I don't know. I'm probably gonna regret I said that in a week from now. But that's my guess there. Where are you at, down?
Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
He's got there's always something to be said about somebody who may have a lower ceiling, but certainly has a higher floor in a multi-candidate race.
Yeah.
And the field is shortened. The race is shortened. There's not going to be the winnowing. So it's not going to be a heads up and sort of a lane kind of thing. It's going to harden people who may have been looking for okay, now we're going to go be safe and, we'll fall in line instead of fall in love. This is going to harden a lot of feelings. Yeah, I think Bernie's in good shape.
Yeah. All right. So we got a question from the stream. What about Mike Bloomberg? If you're Mike Bloomberg, if you're Mike Bloomberg right now, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking this crazy thing. It might work.
Yeah. I mean, look, the most realistic outcome. I mean, it was not a realistic outcome that he was going to get any votes last night in Iowa, so that's not a realistic outcome. The most realistic, best outcome from him is exactly what happened.
Yeah,
They did not report results.
And he's the adult in the room. He's unsullied by this. He's got the field to himself a little longer in these states. People are going to be scrambling for resources. Nobody's going to get a big fundraising bump, I don't think. Biden's in financial straits.
Yep.
He's a mid-pack candidate financially. And so there was talk that he was reallocating some advertising money to Iowa with the idea he would get a bump, and then he could get small donor money because if his firewall is South Carolina, well, 3 days later is Super Tuesday. So it doesn't matter how much you raise that Monday. It's just not going to change anything.
Yeah.
So it hurts Biden, and anything I think that hurts Biden helps Bloomberg.
Yeah.